Let's go live. Okay, it says chat is disabled for this live stream. What the fuck? Why? Oh wait. Quick, go to pop-out chat. Copy this damn thing here. How about now? Hi, it still says it's disabled. I don't know. Why does it say it's disabled? Do I have to keep it like today? It was working fine yesterday. And today, all of a sudden, it can't. It looked at me and it said, I can't. Ah, okay, here we go. How about now? Enter. Oh, save changes. Here we go. Ah! There we go. Larixa. Okay, whatever. So, this is gonna be DAGON. Well, don't know what kind of a story it's gonna be, but there we go. Just a second. Spooky scare, skeletons. Let me just have a quick How am I sounding? I don't know. I changed a few things around. I don't know how I'm sounding. I hope I'm sounding okay. This box of digestive honey, yes, this is more like a what do you call this? Graphic novel or something like that. So DAGON is a faithful interactive adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's work, focused on story and atmosphere. Excuse me. You will not find difficult choices, action sequences, or inventory management here, and movement is limited to progressing through locations along with the plot. Okay.
I am writing this under an appreciable mental strain, since by tonight I shall be no more.
Oh, it's boomy. The thing is, I can't tell. Let me just try to do something real quick then. Maybe this will help it out a little bit. What if I just turned it? How about now? Wait, if I do this, I can't hear anything. I can't change this without hearing. Let me just turn this off for now. For now. I think I'll have to look at it later. But here we go. During the game, you will encounter interactive elements. Some of them will allow you to continue your journey. Others reveal interesting facts about the original short story, its historical background, and the author. Some of the trivia is hidden. In order to find these secrets, focus your eyes and look for the elder sign. Jesus Christ. The game, music is... No, it's just a lot of wee.
Penniless, and at the end of my supply of the drug which alone makes life endurable, I can bear the torture no longer, and shall cast myself from this garret window into the squalid street below. Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate.
The wallpaper? Those tentacles. They look more like really, I don't know, like carrots in cursive, if it makes sense. Carrots, but in cursive, okay? Okay. Do not think my slavery to morphine that I'm a weakling or a degenerate.
When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize, why it is that I must have forgetfulness or death.
It's off to a great start. He is a druggie. Most of the protags are druggie, no? Let's see, elder sign anywhere? No. This is going to be an interactive story.
It was in one of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo fell a victim to the German sea raider.
Supercargo? Oh, Santos, hello! Welcome back, my name. Okay, I have some bad news. Mera dai pani cha Santos fan tha. It seems that my capture card is so old, end of life cycle pugera pani it's no longer supported. I don't know if I can use it on this computer, Windows 11 anymore. Oh, I can't move. Son of a boy! That was too loud.
The Great War was then at its very beginning, and the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their later degradation.
How else are they gonna connect with the Elder Gods? Yeah, true. No, I mean, Dada, how am I supposed to connect my PS5 to the 4070 Super? That's what I'm talking. Not what I meant is the capture card for the console, the one that I was using. Because Data Bonini, my old computer, is, you know, dying.
So that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners.
Oh, this is just a clicking game, okay.
So liberal, indeed, was the discipline of our captors, that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone in a small boat with water.
I'm so happy Nina isn't watching you
time.
type this stuff. I think she would cringe. Like, Morinjale cringe gर्थ्यो होला. सन्तोषको बल्ल मैले मेसेज देखेँ के यहाँ. लुङ्गीमा डिजाइन एक्ज्याक्टली. Ooh.
When I finally found myself adrift and free, I had but little idea of my surroundings.
Find something to click at.
Never a competent navigator, I could only guess vaguely by the sun and stars that I was somewhat south of the equator.
I know that one movie is coming out. I don't know, Into the Mouth of Madness on Poreteo. And but the Color Out of Space was also okay, I think. Klimmate.
Of the longitude, I knew nothing, and no island or coastline was in sight.
I don't know anything about my longitude. Also, I'm lost. I'm super lost, man. We're super lost. The stars? Oh, Zamun.
The weather kept fair, and for uncounted days I drifted aimlessly beneath the scorching sun, waiting either for some passing ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land. But neither ship nor land appeared, and I began to despair in my solitude upon the heaving vastness of unbroken blue.
Movie of the first ones versus the elder ones. I don't think that's gonna happen. No, I don't. Okay, the color out of space was pretty faithful to the original. I think it's the Mouth of Madness. The one with the writer is also pretty good.
The change happened whilst
I
slept.
don't know about the other movies though. Oh shit, the change happened while I slept. I woke up a green-haired woman.
Its details I shall never know. For my slumber, though troubled and dream-infested, was continuous.
Whoa, what the fuck? Well, this isn't too bad of a dream, is it? It's pretty nice,
When
though.
at last I awoke, it was to discover myself half sucked into a slimy expanse of hellish black mire, which extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as I could see.
This is the problem, guy, with H.P. Lovecraft stories. Or anything in the Cthulhu. It's so hard to get it pictured, make it picture
And
properly.
in which my boat lay grounded some distance away. Though one might well imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in reality more horrified than astonished. For there was in the air and in the rotting soil a sinister quality which chilled me to the very core.
Have I read this story? I think I've read this story.
The region was putrid with the carcasses of decaying fish and of other less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain.
I mean, if you would wake up, I know all of a sudden, I know. अचानक उठेर यस्तो भएर देख्दाखेरि चाहिँ I think it would be hellish and then confusing and then a bit amusing and then you'd go back to being worried, I think.
Perhaps I should not hope to convey in mere words the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity.
How are you supposed to, like, अब यस्तो छ के ल्याङ्ग्वेज हैन कसरी चाहिँ how are you supposed to show fucking hell के खस्यो यार. No, but my point is, how are you supposed to show it? Okay? How are you supposed to show the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity? Okay, dude. Like,
There was nothing within hearing and nothing in sight save a vast reach of black slime. Yet the very completeness of the stillness and the homogeneity of the landscape oppressed me with a nauseating fear.
उठेर रे के त्यो शिपमा थियो नि त. So he's now washed ashore here.
The sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless cruelty, as though reflecting the inky marsh beneath my feet.
Ew.
As I crawled into the stranded boat, I realized that only one theory could explain my position.
I've gone plumb oh, what the fuck? Now that is a little disconcerting.
Through some unprecedented volcanic upheaval, a portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface, exposing regions for which innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths.
Or मैले त सुरुमा ड्रिम भनेको भरे त होइन भन्दै थियो नि त. I think I've read this story. I think I know where this is going. I think we're heading towards the mound. But I'm not sure. But anyway, the squelching here साँच्ची नै. कच्याक कस्तो च्याक.
So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean.
Wait a second. So is this thing better? Does this make me sound better? I don't know.
If I have this on, does it make me sound better?
Straining my ears as I might.
I don't know. I can't listen to it properly.
Nor were there any seafowl to prey upon the dead things.
Do I sound any better? Maybe, mayhaps, perhaps, maybe not.
For several hours I sat thinking or brooding in the boat, which lay upon its side and afforded a slight shade as the sun moved across the heavens.
Trilobites.
As the day progressed, the ground lost some of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes in a short time.
Genie, see, I can't tell, okay? Let me just turn it off then. I don't know what the hell I did, okay? It's my filter off. The thing is, I can kind of see what I wanted to do, but I have no idea
why it is that way, Banera. Well, I don't know. Whatever. Well, है पछि हेर्नु पर्ला.
That night I slept but little, and the next day I made for myself a pack containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue.
Rescue possible. Bro, those things are still there, what the
On the third morning, I found the soil dry enough to walk upon with ease.
Whoa. Oh. I mean, looks very... Huh.
The odor of the fish was maddening, but I was too much concerned with graver things to mind so slight an evil, and set out boldly for an unknown goal.
Okay. Like, setting the tone up, I like it. Gotcha. All clear.
All day I forged steadily westward, guided by a faraway hummock which rose higher than any other elevation on the rolling desert.
What the hell is this? Look, it's a terminate, dude. It's a terminate. It's part of a terminate there. Ah. What is that? Is this the mound in the whatever? Whoa. Oh, it's... Look at the ass. Look at the ass. This looks like part of that Alaskan crab, but this I have no idea.
That night, I encamped, and on the following day still travelled toward the hummock, though that object seemed scarcely nearer than when I had first espied it.
I know this story. Malia story part 2. I love this story. I had मेरो माइन्डको दिमागमा इम्पेलरको tentacles थिए.
By the fourth evening,
yes, the base of the mound, yes.
Mound, which turned out to be much higher than it had appeared from a distance.
Oh my god. Okay, so मैले यो पहिला पढ्दाखेरि I had a certain view. मेरो दिमागमा के हुन्छ नि, the imagination. I want to see if it's gonna line up. This so far hasn't been it, but
An intervening valley setting it out in sharper relief from the general surface.
this is so artsy, isn't it? So nice, dude.
Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill. I know not why my dreams were so wild that night.
Oh, wait, pause again.
But ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain,
What the fuck a gibbous moon is supposed to mean, bro?
I was awake in a cold perspiration, determined to sleep no more.
Yes. I remember.
Such
this now.
visions as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again.
People have a problem with bending on their phone cameras, and
And in the glow of the moon, I saw how unwise I had been to travel by day. Without the glare of the parching sun, my journey would have cost me less energy. Indeed, I now felt quite able to perform the ascent which, picking up my pack, I started for the crest of the eminence.
let's pick up the pack.
I have said that the unbroken monotony of the rolling plain was a source of vague horror to me. But I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down the other side into an immeasurable pit or canyon, whose black recesses the moon had not yet soared high enough to illumine.
The voice acting from the dude is really cool, though.
I felt myself on the edge of the world, peering over the rim into a fathomless chaos of eternal night. Through my terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost.
Paradise Lost. Why Paradise Lost, though? Huh. Because Paradise Lost is about Lucifer and Satan and some other people there. But that's the basic. There's Adam and Eve and stuff there.
And of Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realms of darkness. As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined. Ledges and outcroppings of rock afforded fairly easy footholds for a descent, whilst after a drop of only a few hundred feet, the declivity became very gradual.
That
Urged
clipping.
on by an impulse which I cannot definitely analyze, I scrambled with difficulty down the rocks and stood on the gentler slope beneath.
Supposed to be a monolith or something, if I'm not mistaken, here somewhere.
Gazing into the Stygian deeps, where no light had yet penetrated. All at once, my attention was captured by a vast and singular object on the opposite slope, which rose steeply about 100 yards ahead of me. An object that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed rays of the ascending moon.
Oh. Why don't I just descend it? यसमा भनेको छैन यार. I think I remember the protag भनौँ न हैन. The character in this case felt compelled to go क्या? Like त्यहाँ बस्दा बस्दा like if he just felt compelled to go. Like, I don't know why, but I got to do this mine. भनेर जस्तो लागेको थियो है मलाई. Do I squelch my way down there? Yes, I do. We're nearing the end anyway.
That it was merely a gigantic piece of stone, I soon assured myself. But I was conscious of a distinct impression that its contour and position were not altogether the work of nature. A closer scrutiny filled me with sensations I cannot express. For despite its enormous magnitude and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young,
maybe it was the monotonous way of saying I missed it. Height, बुढो भयो यार साथी यार त ल मेरो attention span नै छैन. TikTok has ruined me even though I'm not on it.
I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith, whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures. Dazed and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the scientist's or archaeologist's delight, I examined my surroundings more closely.
Yes. There seems to be a rock here. There seems to be a rock there. And, there's the sky.
The moon, now near the zenith, shone weirdly and vividly above the towering steeps that hemmed in the chasm.
Ooh. Oh, this is somewhat close but not enough. Weird drawings and sketch etchings. Okay. Than what I had in my mind, Paila.
And revealed the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope.
See, in my mind, it was more of like the Dead Space, okay? The whatever the thing is called. And yes, the warships they have the okay.
Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the Cyclopean monolith, on whose surface I could now trace both inscriptions and crude sculptures.
See, this is why I thought it was gonna be this, okay? It's like kind of like Dead Space go.
The writing was in a system of hieroglyphics unknown to me and unlike anything I'd ever seen in books. Consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such as fishes, eels, octopi, crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like. Several characters obviously represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world.
Oh, you haven't played How have you not played Dead Space, my friend? What is this disservice?
But whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen plain. It was the pictorial carving, however, that did most to hold me spellbound.
Many themes and storytelling methods. Developers later works as telling the story through carvings, madness, at the mountains of madness, yes. The nameless city, yes. Those are so great. Those kosto ramro cha yaar tyo. Journals and characters. The shadow out of time. Birse मैले त्यो. The haunter of the dark. What was that about? Islands emerging from the ocean, Call of Cthulhu, also considered the origin of the popular Cthulhu mythos. Some of Lovecraft's other stories also include in a manner similar to Dagon. But let's keep the details in order not to spoil the ending.
Plainly visible across the intervening water on account of their enormous size were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a Doré.
Dude, I think Dead Space 2 has co-op. Let's play Dead Space 2, man. And I know you're shit with horror, and so am I.
I think that these things were supposed to depict men, at least a certain sort of men. Though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto, or paying homage at some monolithic shrine which appeared to be under the waves as well.
Oh, I've always thought that this was more about the Shadow over Innsmouth type. Go. The fish people.
Of their faces and forms I dare not speak in detail, for the mere remembrance makes me grow faint. Grotesque beyond the imagination of a Poe or a Bulwer.
Oh, that's mildly disconcerting.
They were damnably human in general outline, despite webbed hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips. Glassy, bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall.
Okay, now these 4 illustrations aren't.
Curiously enough,
But then again,
they seem to have been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background.
I'm telling you, this is a good fucking effort. This is one of the best efforts I've seen, but damn.
For one of the creatures was shown in
Not
the
enough.
act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself. I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and strange size.
Where the faces? Look, the one on the left there is like just like a face मात्रै के अन्त सबसे माथि टुप्पोको यहाँ के सबसे माथिको टुप्पोको चाहिँ is like, why are you smiling at me, bro? What's got you so happy, mine?
But in a moment decided that they were merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe. Some tribe whose last descendant had perished eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born.
Wow! Damn, the moon water pretty.
Awestruck at this unexpected glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist, I stood musing whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me. Then, suddenly, I saw it.
Uh-oh. 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 Stranger danger.
With only a slight churning to mark its rise to the surface, the thing slid into view above the dark waters.
Okay, this is quite immersive storytelling, dude.
Fiendsome and loathsome, it darted like a stupendous monster of nightmares to the monolith, about which it flung its gigantic scaly arms, the while it bowed its hideous head and gave vent to certain measured sounds. I think I went mad then. Of my frantic ascent of the slope and cliff, and of my delirious journey back to the stranded boat, I remember little.
यसले फुटाउँछ हैन त?
I believe I sang a great deal and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing.
Where'd you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? No? Okay. Annoying? Yes, maybe.
I have indistinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat. At any rate, I know that I heard pearls of thunder and other out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital. Brought thither by the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean. In my delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention.
I mean, this would have been a very cool game.
Of any land upheaval in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing. Nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
Lovecraft was a prominent figure in the world of amateur journalism. In 1915, he started publishing his own journal called The Conservative, which included political and social commentary, poetry, short stories, and literary criticism written by him and other authors. Howard was a skilled wordsmith, but he also took criticisms to heart, which resulted in his decision to step away from writing poetry and concentrate on weird fiction again. For the first time since his teenage years, Dagon, published in 1919, is one of the short stories written during that period. In this excerpt from The Conservative, the master of horror fiction explains his attitude towards warfare and the idea of world peace. Why any sane human being can believe in the possibility of universal peace is more than the conservative can fathom. Should the entire civilized world agree simultaneously to disarm, one or more nations would undoubtedly retain secret armaments and at proper time take advantage of the more altruistic and less astute contemporaries in a wild career of conquest against the unarmed victims. No country is, or ever can be, above warfare, until the basic impulses of the human animal shall have miraculously changed. Well, you know, I agree with that. Yeah. Oh, fucking hell, that scared the shit. Ooh.
Once I sought out a celebrated ethnologist and amused him with peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon, the fish god.
Oh, trivia about Dagon. Dagon was the main deity of the Philistines, worshipped throughout the Middle East as the ancient god of fertility and crops. In Hebrew, the word Dagon was a common noun for grain. The rulers of Akkad, Mesopotamia, chose him as the patron saint of their war conquests. He also appeared as the judge of the dead in an Assyrian poem and an underworld prison warder in one of the Babylonian texts. He's often mistakenly taken for a fish god due to the wrong interpretation of his name, as in Hebrew the word dag means fish. So Gon means god? Gan means god? Okay. Gan. In H.P. Lovecraft's works, Dagon is an underwater deity ruling over the deep ones, a humanoid race with fish traits that resides in the oceans. Is worshipped by a secret cult called the Esoteric Order of Dagon. I don't know, bro. If it's anyone weird, it's I mean, a story time for
but
bedtime.
Soon perceiving that he was hopelessly conventional, I did not press my inquiries.
Huh. The Necronomicon! Ooh! August Derleth was an American writer and anthologist. He also befriended Lovecraft and published many of his works through his company Arkham House. Although he greatly contributed to the popular. Oh my God, what's happening? Hang on, I need to have a drink of water. Whoa, I need some water. Although he greatly contributed to the popularization of the author's works after his death, he is surrounded by numerous controversies. One of his most questionable decisions involved introducing the good versus evil doctrine. Derleth, or is it Derleth? I don't know. Was a devout Catholic to the good versus evil doctrine to the Cthulhu mythos, which contrasted with Lovecraft's view of the world and his approach to cosmic horror. As a result, the author's works are often misunderstood and misrepresented in today's culture. True, there was no such thing as good versus evil in H.P. Lovecraft's work. It is also worth noting that Lovecraft was never really interested in creating a mythology, and the term Cthulhu mythos was coined by Derleth after the author left the mortal plane. Now that's a fun way of saying he kicked the bucket, isn't it? Fun way of saying he died. He left the mortal plane. Oi! Fucking hell, this scared the shit. What the heck, bro? Why am I here? I don't like it. Why am I here? What's up? It's 10 o'clock. No reason to be there at all.
It is at night, especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing.
He sees the thing. Yeah. Well, the movie's coming out soon, isn't it? Fantastic Four? Don't know when it's coming out.
I tried morphine.
Then I tried... Get it? What's the thing that Dr. House has? God damn it. It starts with a V. Whatever, I don't care.
But the drug has given only transient surcease, and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave. So now I am to end it all, having written a full account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of
Oh,
my
look, the
fellow
lungi
men.
is back. Hated tobacco. Alright, well, more nobody. Lovecraft hated tobacco, even though he used to smoke when he was 12. In order to look and feel like an adult, in his correspondence with friend Reinhard Kleiner, he claims that he quit as soon as he started wearing long pants. He also had a very strong opinion about alcohol, as evidenced by his letter to Zelia Brown, dated 13th February 1928. As for the matter of drinking, I have never tasted intoxicating liquor, and never intend to, having a strong aesthetic disgust at anything which blunts or coarsens the delicate natural equipoise of the evolved human intellect and imagination. Drinking excited my personal repugnance, hence I don't drink. Let the herd do what they will. I am rather in favor of prohibition, the prohibition of any one antisocial force, as well as any other. Source: The Spirit of Revision, Lovecraft's letter to Zelia Brown. Read Bishop, H.P. Lovecraft, Sean Branney, and Andrew Lemon. St. Juicy. I say the same thing about hallucinogens,
Often,
actually.
I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm. A mere freak of fever as I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man-of-war. This I ask myself, but ever does there come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply. I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be crawling and floundering on its slimy bed. Worshipping their ancient stone idols and carving their own detestable likenesses on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite.
It's Godzilla!
I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the remnants of puny, war-exhausted mankind. Of a day when the land shall sink and the dark ocean shall ascend amidst universal pandemonium.
Son of a bitch, that fucking
The
scared me.
end is near.
The fuck is that sound? Oh, he's got his room barred. Oh shit!
I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it. It shall not find me. God, that hand!
Oi.
The window! The window!
Fuck, fuck, ah! Oi! Oi, torsa yaar vampire. Well, that was fun. Silly guy, sir. Well, story before bedtime, भनेको त्यतिका तर्सेर यार कस्तो होला. Now what's happening?
And scary stories have been accompanying men for centuries. They have many faces and forms. But what is their purpose? Why do we enjoy being afraid so much? During our therapy, I'll try to...
What the heck is that? What is that? Only unlocked 80. It's a lot more to unlock apparently, but there we go. That crunching. Did got thoughts there. But not bad, huh? Oh, this is. Oh, no. Hang on just a second. Well, that does it for this game. Stream. Copyright free electronic music. Let's go. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Oh, that's the game. Dive on here, oh, dive. Ek kanu na ta. Low sunny. Sake pani. The game pani sake. So, I mean, as far as immersive storytelling goes, not bad. Not bad actually. There is something I've been wanting to play. That's very like, it's. It's not exactly it's an immersive story. What happened? Something went tooting. What the fuck went tooting? What the heck? Well, anyway. Well, thank you for joining, man. Bro, this thing's pissing me off. I don't know what What is happening? Something is just connecting and disconnecting. I don't know what that is. Or where the fuck it is. Alright, thank you for joining me, dudes. Hey, this was fun. Oh. Next time I'll have something more actiony on it, I guess. Alright, until the next time, take care and stay cool. Bye bye. Dude, I forgot where my... Oh, it's over here, sorry.